The person you are seeing on screen is Lance Claasen. Lance, good afternoon. Thanks for coming through. A bit chaotic with everything that's happening, but it's all good. We'll do just fine. Lance Claasen coming through as part of our focus on reporters and senior editors just opening up their diaries. So Lance, let me just quickly find my notes and where we are with you. So it's a big week internationally, and you and the team will be busy. Tell me what you'll be looking at in as far as the tariffs, as far as the Trump administration are concerned.
Okay, the tariffs start to kick in on Friday. And South Africa is not alone in this basket of negotiations that have to take place with the USA. It's been often asked, and we've often pushed the narrative that there should be multilateral negotiations taking place. And when we engaged Minister Lamola from DIRCO, he said the Americans are insisting on a bilateral negotiations. Now, but it doesn't stop South African or African countries coalescing and having common positions on different things, and they haven't done it. And so you're going to see later on in the week there's a SADC conference taking place, and normally when you deal with SADC or the South African Customs Unit, they're supposed to speak with one voice, and this hasn't happened. Eswatini went and did their own thing. South Africa went and negotiated individually within the United States, and we have had the situation with Zimbabwe offering to drop all tariffs on US imports. And these are neighboring countries, and we haven't acted as one voice on this issue. Has the USA taken it to divide and conquer us? Yes, pretty much so. So
they're pretty much getting that, because that seems to be their preference, right? To move from a point where you have a general principle about tariffs to having one-on-one deals with each and every country. And
that's the way Donald Trump likes to move. And then the looming specter of the G20 still taking place, one of the biggest multilateral meeting of heads of state this year. And we don't even know if he might come. That's still up in the air.
The other story that I see you're focusing on is the situation in Gaza. With the latest pronouncements that the Security Cabinet in Israel has approved the Prime Minister's plan for a full military takeover of Gaza City.
That goes against what they're saying from the start. They were saying, no, it's going to be an incursion and it's not going to happen. That's not happening. And in the cause and effect of what's taking place, Israel is starting to lose friends, specifically in Europe. You've seen recently France said they're going to, and the UK, they're going to recognize Palestine as a state. The Dutch have put travel restrictions on 2 Israeli ministers. They cannot come and sit, so they cannot come to the Netherlands. It's seemingly reminiscent of what happened in the apartheid state, the isolation where your friends are finding it hard to defend you. And that's what's happening with Israel. When people are taking to the streets in their hundreds of thousands in a place like Sydney, like Australia, then it's starting to shrink. And even when it comes to the Americans, you're seeing a splitting of support across party lines for Israel. And then this afternoon, a big thing is going to take place. United Nations Security Council meeting is taking place on a Sunday.
Wow. That tells you that we've got to get down to business.
And
there's
taking
no time
place
to
live
waste.
at Show and Bryce Peace will be keeping track of that.
So, I mean, in terms of that plan to recognize the state of Israel, for those countries that had said, we will do it unless you come to a ceasefire of sorts. There's no talk of a ceasefire at this point. It's not looking...
That's the UK specific. They came with their terms and conditions. They tried to give Israel a soft way out. They kept, and there's no negotiating with Netanyahu on this issue. They've made up their mind, and this is what it is.
Sure. Let's turn to the situation with Ukraine, where there is, well, at least if we believe what Donald Trump says, there is some progress. There's a bit of a prospect of some kind of a ceasefire being brokered. Interestingly, the talks will take place in Alaska.
Yes, but a ceasefire between who and who? Trump's not fighting a war over there. Zelensky is fighting the war, and Putin's fighting the war, but Zelensky might not be there.
Yeah.
And Zelensky's said there's quite clearly that they're not going to put the sovereignty of Ukraine on the table, meaning that the land that Russia conquered, they cannot keep. And so that's going to be a line in the sand, and that's in the line in the sand for the EU as well. They've also taken that position that UN demarcated borders are the borders that's going to take place.
Must be respected.
Yes.
And interestingly, Trump, by contrast, is talking about the possibility of territory swaps.
Yes.
We'll swap territories.
Yes. Trump's transactional, and that's an option for him. That's really an option for him.
Yeah. Let's talk about another peace process, the DRC. This is multi-pronged, isn't it, Lance? There are various peace processes that are on the go. Which one are we talking about here?
We're talking about, there's a couple of peace processes there. There's the DRC and Rwanda.
Yes.
Rwanda, remember, said they never had any troops in. But now the peace deal that they came with the Americans acknowledged that they are peace. Their troops are in the DRC. Then there's the M23 and the DRC government.
Yes.
Even though they're allies, Rwanda and M23 are allies, this process is taking place in Doha. And there's an agreement set to take place on the 18th of August. But at the same time, there are massacres being taken place. There's no ceasefire.
Yeah.
But there's no cease in fighting. In the east, there's reports of over 300 people that have died in the eastern DRC. It gets much more complex. It gets more complex because there are at least 9 active rebel groups in the eastern DRC.
Wow.
And they each have to go through their own peace process. There's the M23 are Tutsi-based, ADF, it's Hutu-based, and there's the rebel groups are almost fighting each other as well.
Yeah.
So, and it's not a cohesive state. Plus, there have been charges laid against the former President Joseph Kabila.
Yes.
There's a trial running, and he's not there, and he's in the east of the DRC, and he's on the east of the DRC.
Yeah.
So let's hope for peace. South Africans have, and the African peace processes have been excluded. They've gone for the Americans and Doha to run that peace process.
Speaking of that then, Lance, the SADC summit, an opportunity to reflect on how SADC, the role that SADC played and how that panned out in terms of pursuing peace in this situation and other issues of concern. I can only imagine as well that the situation with the prisoners that came from the US that are now in Eswatini might just not necessarily be on the agenda, but it may be an opportunity to raise it. I'm sure
it's going to be on the agenda. The SADC conference taking place in Madagascar. Andry Rajoelina takes over as the presidency from Mangoro Bunangwagwa, and that's what will be transpiring. This is a test for SADC. This is a test for African unity. Yeah. There are a couple of things that are on the agenda. It's like one of the things is about transformation, intra-African trade, and that might be something that can really be pushed. Someone's got to take the leadership on this because Madagascar got hit particularly hard by sanctions as well. Like they got hit by, I think it's about 39% sanctions that they got hit by. Even the sanctions that were brought down from 50 to 15% for Lesotho doesn't help Lesotho. It still decimates the economy. It still decimates because they have to compete with the 10% sanctions from Kenya. Yeah. And they've done, and then that's what they have to do. There's some real challenges for SADC. Yeah. And then even in SADC itself, we're still facing an insurgency in the northern part of Mozambique. 60,000 people were displaced in the last few weeks. Yeah. So that's some real tensions within
So quite a lot on the agenda for the SADC summit. And historically, Madagascar taking over, that hasn't happened before, has it? No, I don't think it's happened. So it's quite historic as well. So yes. And you know, Rajoelina, what was his former job again? Wasn't he? Still wanted to go there, Lance.
He was a DJ. So there's a chance for us, maybe. Maybe President Tula Sizwe, one day, maybe it's on the cards for you
What's
one day.
lacking is ambition on that front. Lance Claasen, acting SABC News international editor, just opening up his team's diary.